Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. It is July 1st, about 9:10 Central Time, my time. If you're watching this episode and you have not subscribed yet, I implore you to hit that red free subscribe button. It's an investment on your part, a free investment on your part. I'm at like 330 something right now. Now my goal has changed. Opposed to 1,000, my first goal is to get to 500. YouTube has changed up the deal. Get to 500 by week 1, September 10th, for sure. If possible, get to 1,000 by week 1, September 10th. But if we can get to at least 500 week 1, September 10th, then throughout the season, I believe I'll get that other 500. And when I hit 1,000, this channel will grow exponentially. Anything that I get from the channel, I will put back into it with a microphone, studio equipment, sound bites, a good desktop just for this, for film graphics, and all that kind of stuff, to put all the bells and whistles to this show to go with that I have up here. There's 30 years with this team, playing the game my entire life, being a student of the game since I was like 3 or 4 years old, since I knew what football was. I've been bleeding blue and silver since I was 6. My first game that I witnessed was Super Bowl 28 against Buffalo in the Georgia Dome. We were down 13-6. I said a prayer during halftime that we would win. My dad was a Cowboy hater. And we come back and win 30-13. And I thought because of my prayer, I'm 6. I thought because of my prayer, that's why we won. And so I make a joke that the Cowboys led me to Christ. And ever since that game, I was hooked from the 94 season on. Watched about every snap of every game, never missed. Even when I was 16 out of high school, working nights, I would get up on Sunday at 11:30 or 2:30 just to make sure I did not miss a game in that 03 season when I started working for a living. I mean, it is football season is what it's all about, guys. And we are Cowboys Nation. We are brothers and sisters, all on the same cause. We all bleed the same blood, blue and silver. This seems to help Mike Fisher. So on the count of 3, guys, if y'all can hit that red subscribe button, help keep me there. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. This show will become a diamond gem. I guarantee you that, guys. On the count of 3, let's all hit subscribe. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Hit the button of subscribe. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. Forget that like button on 3. Like Mike Fisher says, helps me the algorithms. Help a brother out. 1, 2, 3. Let's hit like. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. I got a few topics tonight. Headliner one that really gets me is Darren Woodson being passed up again for the Hall of Fame. Not, being elected to have a chance to make it. The last season that he played was 2003. So 2004, he tried to rehab his way back onto the field, but he just couldn't do it, and it was it. And in 2005, he hung it up. So he's been eligible for 13 years now. And Darren Woodson is not, the best safety to ever play the game. He's not as good as an Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu or, any of those top-notch guys. But Darren Woodson is one of the best to ever play the position. He's one of the rare safeties that can play the run at a high level and the pass at a high level. His career statistics, the man had 1,350 tackles, 23 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. He had 17 forced fumbles, 11 fumble recoveries, and 11 sacks. 3-time Super Bowl champion. As you know, he was drafted in 92, made the all-rookie team in 92. He's a 4-time first-team All-Pro, 94, 95, 96, 3 years in a row, and then he made it 98. And then 5-time Pro Bowler, 94 through 98, consecutive seasons. And then he's in the Ring of Honor in AT&T Stadium, and also in 2002 won the Bart Starr Award. And the only Cowboys player, to play for Jimmy Johnson all the way to Bill Parcells. No other player lasted from Jimmy to Bill. He is the only one. And I'm surprised. I know he's got 4 All-Pro years, 5 Pro Bowl years. In 2003, when the Cowboys had the #1 defense and him and Roy Williams were like the best safety tandem in the NFL that season, Cowboys ended the season with the #1 overall defense. I'm surprised he didn't make the Pro Bowl, at least a Pro Bowl, let alone make an All-Pro. I know Roy Williams did. Darren Woodson was a big part of that too. That safety tandem was big. Roy Williams was that box safety. When he was young, he was good. That box safety that would knock your rocks off, and Darren Woodson was that free safety patrolling that outfield. He had good range. I mean, just great instincts. And whenever he played with Prime, man, that was a legit secondary from 95 through 99. When you had Prime and Woodson as your main 4 defensive backs, 2 corners, 2 safeties, you had a good secondary there. So he gets passed over again, and I don't know why. It happens, I guess. I mean, this is his 13th or 14th year of being eligible to be elected to go into the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame, and at least have a chance at getting in, and hope Hall of Fame game, first preseason game, get the gold jacket. I believe he will. It just might take him a while. I mean, we've seen great players in the past, take a long time too. But Darren Woodson was the best safety I've ever, since I've been watching, is the best safety that we've ever had. Got to meet him once. That was pretty cool. It's autographed by him. My sister had a job thing in Dallas, and his little side business and whatnot. He was speaking on it, and so she told me who it was. I told him, "Oh, I need that man's autograph." So she found a hat with a star on it. It's not really the Cowboy star, and got the autograph for me. I do appreciate that for her. A couple other topics here. Early candidates, 3 that will probably make the roster, 2 that probably won't. And a couple of stats about last season and the 5 free agents that could possibly start for us this year, depending on what the Joneses do, or if there's an injury that happens or whatnot. I don't know what the heck that is. These new phones are trippy. Just me and my Galaxy right now. As you can see this, when I was watching a show with Law the other day, it was him, West Coast Cowboy, BSM, and Landlord. Everybody but Law had a Cash App under their name. Law don't need that because he's got 107,000 subscribers, and Law Nation 2.0, and Law Nation Q&A and all that stuff. But I would like to get to Oxnard this year. I've actually never been to Oxnard. I used to go to Wichita Falls every year when they had it here, but since they moved it to California, I just never made the trip over there. I would love to this season, especially this season, so I could I could give you my take from what I'm seeing. I'm part of Star Status Houston chapter. It's a 13th chapter. The original one was originated in Los Angeles. Jerry Jones knows about us. Houston has got its new one now. I am a part of them, so if I get to training camp, I'll be able to be in VIP status, be right behind the players, a lot closer than the general population. If y'all can help me get to Oxnard, that'd be awesome. By the end of the season, whoever donates the most to the channel will get a set of playoff tickets. I get a big deposit in December, so that's not a problem. So by the end of week 18, I'll announce the top 3 winners. Number 1 will get a set of playoff tickets, maximum of 3. Hopefully it'll be a divisional game. Hopefully we get that 1 seed. Number 2 will be 2 jerseys of your choice, color and name, of course. And number 3 right now is a 1990 Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card. Could possibly be autographed by then. Because this chapter I'm in, we get to meet, old legends like that. I joined it a week after they met Emmitt, and I was like, man, I wish you had invited me a week earlier. I'd have got that card signed in a heartbeat. Now, prizes 2 and 3 might be better by December, but for right now, that's all I can think of. But for sure, number 1 will be playoff tickets, and it won't be bum seats. It'll be good seats, 50-yard line, pretty close. So, right now, the early making candidates, Eric Scott Jr., our 6th-round pick that we traded up to get the first pick in the 6th round. I think the kid is a real deal. He is going to be the successor to Stephon Gilmore after he plays a season or two with us and then hangs up his cleats after he gets that second ring that he's been wanting. He makes a team. Thanks to me for Hoko. I think for Hoko in his third season now makes that extra step, that step that, we've been waiting for him to make. He's got the size, the speed, the ability, and to be a number 4 receiver for us could be very, very effective. I think Simi Fehoko makes the number 4 spot, beating out Jalen Tolbert, Dennis Houston, and Tolbert could be number 5 or 6, but I think Fehoko has the best chance of being receiver number 4 this season, especially going into his third year now. Sometimes in players' third years, they start to get it. And Dante Fowler, he will make the team. Had 6 sacks last season, forced a few fumbles that were pretty key. He's capable of getting over 10 easy. I predicted we'd have 4 guys get over 10 sacks. I don't think it's ever happened. And we were on pace to do that halfway through the season. And then the Eagles wound up doing it. We only had 1 to get over 10. At week 9, Dorrance Armstrong had 8. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's easily going to eclipse 10. And he only gets a half a sack the rest of the year. And week 3 against the Giants, Tank gets 3 that night. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's good. If he can have a few more good games, he'll probably get to 10. I knew Micah was. And I figured Dorrance, or someone else could probably get to 10. But only Micah was the only one to eclipse 10. This season we'll have 4 guys get 10 or more sacks, just like Philly did last year. And Fowler is very capable of doing that. The 2 guys that will make the team, but most likely be on the practice squad, 7th round pick Jalen Brooks. He's like the new Noah Brown. He has another project to start building on, probably practice squad. And Rico Dowdle, he's not beating out Malik Davis. Malik Davis showed some tread on the tires last season as a rookie, showed some burst, some speed, showed potential to where I think he could be running back number 2 and be very good at it. Also, I think Rico Dowdle, again, will be a practice squad player. Everybody keeps comparing Cowboys and Eagles. Just some stats last year. Our strength of victory last season, our average strength of victory percentage was 0.48. Theirs was 0.460. And our strength of schedule last season was 0.507. Theirs was 4.474. So we had a harder strength of schedule last season. Only difference between us 2 last year is the 2 games the Eagles were supposed to lose, they came back and won. One against the Colts and I think Chicago was the other one. Chicago or Jacksonville. And us being up by 14 against Green Bay, being up against 17 against Jacksonville, not closing those games out, that was the difference. If we close those 2 games out, or Philly doesn't have that late drive against Indianapolis and falls against Chicago when Jalen Hurts gets hurt, or at Jacksonville, we finished with the same record. We were a draft and develop team last season. They were an all-star team. They lost 5 defensive starters, 3 of them blue chip guys, 2 offensive starters, 2 of them blue chip guys. They replaced with good guys, for replacements, but not as good as the guys that were there. We didn't lose anybody except the guys that we wanted to lose, except for maybe Dalton Schultz. We would have probably liked to have kept him. We keep him. We probably don't draft Schoonmaker in the second round. We probably take Osiris Torrance. But we didn't. So we lose Dalton Schultz, basically. Let who we don't want walk, which is Anthony Brown, Carlos Watkins, Connor McGovern. Make 2 of the biggest trades in the offseason. Get the defensive tackle, nose tackle that we've been waiting on. If he could be that Russell Maryland that we drafted back in, 91? in the first round. So long as it's been since we drafted a nose tackle in the first round. That will just make our defense a whole nother level. The whole reason why the 2000 Ravens defense was so good, I keep iterating this to people. The whole reason why the 2000 Ravens defense held in a 16-game season, allowed 165 points, 10 points a game, and allowed 970 yards rushing all season. Didn't even allow 1,000 yards rushing, was because of that defensive line. And they had two one-technique guys that could have played nose tackle in a 3-4 scheme, but they had two of them playing in a 4-3 scheme next to each other, and Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa. Two bad boys that could swallow up two linemen by themselves. Which let the defensive ends, Michael McCrary and Burnett, do what they do, and Ray Lewis, Jamie Sharper, and Peter Boulware, Ray Lewis was in his prime then. Sharper and Boulware were damn good. They didn't have any linemen coming up into the second level to engage with them. Not even tight ends, really. So they had free range to run sideline to sideline and meet every running back in the hole because the offensive line and tight ends were so engaged with that defensive line. That's why they didn't allow 1,000 yards. I remember whenever we were playing them that season, Trent Dilfer throws 2 interceptions our defense, right? And they still beat us 27-0. We were one of their shutouts. They had 4 that year. I remember Emmitt Smith gets a run up the middle, 15 yards, like the third quarter. That was like our best play of the game so far. And it was Emmitt Smith up the middle for 15 yards. And I never forget the announcer saying, yeah, this Baltimore's second longest run they've allowed all season. And when the announcer said that, I was in disbelief. I was like, that is the second longest run they've allowed all year? Man. It was all because of that defensive line. So if Mozzie Smith can be as good as advertised and do what he did in Michigan, because he doesn't want to be, or he doesn't think that he's a interior pass rusher. He thinks he's a run stopping big boy in the middle. That's all we really want him to be. Osio Odigizua can be our 3-tech interior pass rushing guy. If Mozzie could be what he's supposed to be, playing alongside Hankins, that will make our defense twice as good as it was last year, just by that alone. That'll allow the Wolf Hunter, Damone Clark, to run sideline to sideline with, without being touched. Our defense will be able to shut teams down big time. But we shall see if Mozzie is a real deal. I think he could be. He's got the strength to do it. We know that. He's got the size and he's got the strength. They call him the gorilla in the weight room for a reason. The man could throw around 800 pounds. Not as strong as Larry Allen. I don't know if anybody in the NFL was ever as strong as him, but strong. And then especially give him another season, and usually in a player's second year, you see him built like next door, my cousin. My neighbors are cousins. The cousin is wide receiver Jalen Darden, who plays for Cleveland now. Played for Tampa in 2001 last year. Got cut, signed on in Tampa. But from his rookie season to last season when he came back home, man, he looked like Hog Diesel. Opposed to just a skinny, fast dude. He's just a small, skinny, fast guy. But with that workout regimen the NFL gives you, he just came back looking like a different guy. But I think Mozzie's got the strength as a rookie to do what he's got to do. The 5 free agents I could start for us right now, and there's a 6 also. Number 1 on the list, of course, is DeAndre Hopkins. As we know, he visited only Tennessee and New England so far. He is in no rush to sign with anybody, being that there's still a month till training camp. We have $20.4 million in cap space. Some say $24 million. It's in between that. We have 2 open roster spots also. Hopkins is probably not your 1,500, 1,200 yard receiving, guy anymore, but still very effective. He's better than Michael Gallup. We know that. We got Brandon Cooks because of the speed. We wanted someone to be a deep threat, take the top off of defense. But last season, Hopkins only played 9 games. Michael Gallup, he played in 14. In 5 less games, Hopkins playing 5 less games than Gallup. Hopkins had injuries too. I know Michael Gallup was coming off that tear, but Hopkins had 25 more catches, almost 300 more yards than Gallup. And if he'd be willing to sign for a reasonable deal, and he were to come on to the squad, could you imagine that threesome of Lamb, Hopkins, and Cooks, and Gallup as receiver number 4? And you could have Hopkins and Gallup on the outside, and Lamb and Cooks in the slot. Gosh. I mean, if you really want to go for the gusto, him or the other big-time free agent, I'm talking about. Put your money where your mouth is, Jerry. Number 2, Robbie Gould. You got Robbie Gould, Mason Crosby, Ryan Suckup. Pretty soon, probably Nick Folk will be out there. I would take Brett Maher over them guys any day. All them guys are declining, getting older. Leg strength is a question. Maher can make them boomer kicks. He was great last year. He had a freak-out game against Tampa. Just missed 4 or 5 straight extra points. The next week, he rebounded and made the 2 field goal attempts he was asked to make. The first extra point was blocked. Last season, Maher was money Maher, not Brett the Fret anymore. I would take Maher for $1 million over Robbie Gould and $4 million any day of the week. That's a win-win right there. And Maher can consistently just kick the ball out of the end zone. If teams are just gonna, well, you have to do that. If teams are just gonna fair catch it, if they catch it at the 5 or at the 1. I mean, they're going to have competition. I hope they bring Maher in for the competition and he gets his job back. Because he was great for us last season. Like I said, this year, I think we're going to have a few long field goals that are going to make big differences. If we got a guy that can nail them 60-yarders, not a lot of teams have those kind of kickers. They can nail them 60-yarders at a high percentage rate. He's made 4 in his career now. Technically 5 because he made them back-to-back in Minnesota last year. That 60-yard attempt. Drilled it. They stopped the play after he kicked it. Had to re-kick it, which was total BS. And he drills it again, right down the middle. 60 yards, like nothing. It would have been good from 70. Shut the door, guys. Shut the door. Number 3, my personal favorite, left guard Dalton Reisner. With a big question mark at left guard, I know we got Ty Smith, Tyler Smith, Beard Ash, Morgan Steele. And we have unprovens and A.Shame Richards, Chuma Adoga, Matt Farniak, Matt Waletzko, who had reps at left guard in OTAs and minicamp. Denver was a dumpster fire last year. Had a lot of internal combustion going on. And so, yeah, he did act out of character and, get into a fight with one of his teammates. But he's had a good, very solid career, above average player his whole career at left guard. I just don't know why you would jack around and experiment with unprovens when you could just go, we got the money, just go grab him. At least he'd be a great depth piece. A great depth, swing guard. I mean, you couldn't get any better than him at swing guard if you still want to keep that 5 that we got. And if we get him, and God forbid, Tyron Smith goes down, then Tyler kicks back out to his position and Dalton goes to his position. Dalton Reisner would be a plug-and-play left guard, better than Connor McGovern, better than Connor Williams, better than those two guys. He has a better lineman than those two guys, has more skins on the wall, has more experience under his belt. Dalton Reisner, and he wouldn't be a top dollar guy. We could get him for probably $2-3 million on a 1-year deal. I mean, solidify that old line with some real veteran depth and let us see, Farniak and Chuma battle it out for the last spot or two. And whoever doesn't make it, put them on the practice squad or do what you got to do with them. Or Dalton Reisner could just be our left guard and Tyler could stay where he's at, and Tyron and Steele could battle it out at right tackle. Or if Steele ain't ready, Tyron could be at right tackle. And then when Steele's ready, they could battle it out and make the best man win. And whoever don't win becomes swing tackle. I mean, the offensive line will still be just as good, if not better, with that. On the Landry hat, the article, they had the best offensive lines ranked in our division. They had Washington, their offensive line ranked at number 4. They had Philly ranked at number 3 because Kelsey, being as old as he is, they signed him for 1 more year. Lane Johnson get long in the tooth. Losing Isaac Samalu. They're either going to have Cam Jurgens or rookie Tyler Steen, 3rd-round pick, play at right guard. Don't know how that's going to work out very well. So last year, the O-line was the best in the league. It's a year older now. They lost a key starter. So they had them ranked number 3. They had the Giants ranked number 2 because in 2020, they took that left tackle they have with the 4th overall pick. I forgot that guy's name. Thomas, I think Andrew Thomas, something like that. And then last year, they took Evan Neal with the 7th overall pick at right tackle. And then this draft, they got the best center in the draft, John Michael Schmitz. So kind of like the Cowboys did in 2011 through 2014, they got 3 really good linemen in 4 years, except they were able to get John Michael Schmitz in the 2nd round, which was a complete steal because he was the best center in the draft. They had that O-line at number 2, and they had ours at number 1. Being that Tyron Smith is healthy right now, our offensive line, even with the absence of Connor McGovern, will probably be better this year than last year. And that's what we're helping on. That's on my last video. One of the 3 players on offense that are key, essential to us getting where we want to get to is Tyron Smith. If he stays healthy and only misses like 3 games during the season, that'll be golden because he is excellent at blindside pass protection. And I think Tyler would be a great left guard. But Dalton Reisner is the best insurance policy that you could get. And he wouldn't break the bank either. Put your money where your mouth is, Jerry. Do it. Why not? Number 4, you got linebackers Miles Jack. Who I remember when he was with Jacksonville, man, was a monster. Still had over 100 tackles last season. Still pretty good. He would be a guy that, if we get an injury, knock on wood, he'd be a guy that we could call, and he'd be a good feeling guy. Be if it was for, 5 or 6 weeks or whatnot. He'd be a good feeling guy, playing beside Damone Clark or Dolph Hunter, if one of the 2 were to go down. He's had 4 teams in the last 4 seasons, but still over 100 tackles in every season. He can still play ball, but he's not the 2018 Miles Jack or the 2019 Miles Jack that we knew. Number 5, surprising, he's still a free agent. Yannick Ngakoue, if I said that right. He's one of the best free agents still out there. He can still get to the passer. In 2019, he had 8 sacks. 2020, he had 8. 2021, he had 10. And last season, he had 9.5. Imagine adding that to our defensive end rotation. Man, especially if we went on first down, second down, get teams into passing downs and get that NASCAR package out there. He's been a 10-sack guy the last 2 seasons. Almost the last 4. 8, 10, 9.5. All in lesser defenses at that. Put him on this defense. Man, that that would make our front, our defensive line even that much more crazy. Especially if Mozzie can do his job. The whole key to our defensive line is if Mozzie can do what he's supposed to do, that will make everything else fall into place. Everything else fall into place. And the one that wasn't on the list, but we all know about, Dalvin Cook, who wants $10 million. I don't think he's going to get that. He would be an amazing addition to this team. But 2 questions. Would he be all right with being running back number 2? Because if he were to come on and wear the star, he would be behind Pollard. Pollard is back number 1 this season. Everybody knows that. Would he be okay with not being the starter? And would he be willing to sign for $5 to $6 million for a 1-year deal? $5-6 million, $5 million, extra $1 million with incentives. And I know whenever a team wins a Super Bowl, every player gets like $1 million bonus, something like that. So he'd be with a contender that has a really good shot at going and doing something they haven't done since '95. Like I said, it's the best roster I've seen us have since I was in 3rd grade in '95. It's better than the 07 roster. This is better than the 99 roster. In 99, if Michael Irvin doesn't break his neck at the vet in week 4, we were 3-0 at that time. We had a good shot at making a deep playoff run. But when Michael Irvin went down, that really broke our team. We had a good offensive line. Emmett was still good, in his prime-ish. And you had Michael Irvin and Rocket Ishmael. Big, physical, dominant receiver with a nice, speedy one. Big 3-0 start. Dominant. Week 1, we were down 21 points in the 4th quarter versus Washington. Come back, win it in overtime with a play action. Go out to Rocket Ishmael to win 41-35. Then in week 2, we beat the NFC champions, Atlanta Falcons, on Monday Night Football, 24-7, something like that. And week 3, dominate Arizona, 38-10. In the first 3 games, we scored 100 points. And back then in '99, that was a lot. That happens more now often, but that was like, damn, 100 points in 3 games. And then we go to 0-3 Philly. Week 4, we're 3-0, heavy favorites. Michael Irvin goes for that quick slant and he's going down with his head. White boy safety Tim Hawk goes down, boom, helmet to helmet. There's about 30-minute delay. Had to take Irvin's face mask off, put him on a stretcher, ambulance him out of there. Man, it sucked. Took the wind out of our team. We wind up losing that game 13-10, and losing the following week to the Giants 13-10. Man, that derailed a season that we could have really maybe had one more ring with Troy, because that defense was damn good too that year. With Prime still in his prime, Darren Woodson, Dexter Coakley, that win. Greg Ellis, Chad Hennings, Kevin Smith, George T. A good defense that we had. This team is better than that unit. It's better than the 07 unit that we had with 13 Pro Bowlers. Better than the 09 unit. Better than the 2014 team. 2014 team had the best line we've seen since the Great Wall of Dallas. Defense wasn't so hot though. Sean Lee tears his ACL in training camp, and DeMarcus Ware departs to Denver. If DeMarcus Ware would have just stayed one more year with us somehow, and Sean Lee doesn't tear his ACL, maybe our defense is that much better, and that's the difference in get to the Super Bowl that year, but they were not part of the team that season. This team's better than the rookies of 2016, better than the 2018 squad, and better than the last 2 years. We've been getting better. We've made improvements. 2020 was just a dumpster fire. 2021, we surprised everybody. Prescott comes off a broken leg. 37 touchdowns, 10 picks, was 1 yard away from breaking Romo's single-season passing yard record, broke Romo's single-season passing touchdown record with 37. Romo had 36 in 2007. Surprised everybody. Going 12-5, but we kind of fade down the stretch. One and done at home against San Fran. Green Bay had the number 1 seed that year. Remember that. And last season we go 12-5 again, but we're not one and done. We go to San Fran and we play a better game than we did the year before. Minus 2 horrific interceptions that should have never happened. This year we are primed to do it, especially if we just make some. I mean, we got 2 roster spots. If it were up to me, I would fill those 2 spots. Well, if Tristan Vizquino, whatever that kicker is on the roster, I would just kick him off and put Maher back on. That keeps 2 spots still open. And I would fill them with Dalton Reisner. And then try my damnedest to get Dalvin Cook in here. If not Elliott. I mean, I would prefer Elliott because of his compliment to Pollard and Deuce Vaughn. But if that's like just never going to happen, then I would just, be burning the midnight oil trying to find a way to get Dalvin Cook over here. Just so there's no question marks going into training camp. None. No weaknesses at all. The new style offense is going to be more Dak friendly, more saving Dak from himself. I know he thinks he's a pocket quarterback, that he's I'm a thread the needle type guy. He's not. He's a great game manager. So Mike McCarthy's going to play him that way this season. He wants to run the ball. He knows, he's seen the stats that since Prescott has been our quarterback since 2016, when we run for 125 or more yards, and Dak throws for like 25 attempts, around 25 attempts, and we rush for about 40 plus attempts, and get over 125 yards, our win-loss ratio is stupid. I don't have the exact win-loss ratio in front of me, but I know it's very high. That is our recipe to winning, especially now with a defense of this caliber, which will be the number 1 defense this season. It'll be between us and San Fran. That safety they have, that was first team All-Pro, Troy Polamalu Jr. If he makes another step, being that they got Hargrave now on the defensive line, it's going to be pretty damn close. Because they did get Chardavius Ward last year at corner. That did help. It's going to be between us and San Fran, who see you as the number 1 defense. I think we have the inside track because on all three levels, we got it. They've got the better linebackers. The defensive line, I would say, is a wash because, I mean, we've got depth out the wazoo, guys that can rush the passer all day. If Mozzie is who he says he is, our D-line is a wash with theirs. Our secondary is better than their secondary. Our corners are better. Stephon Gilmore is our number 1 corner. Trayvon Diggs is our number 2 this year. That's how they're ranked, PFF style. That's what a lot of people agree with. And the young descendant, DeRon Bland, at nickel. If Jordan Lewis can come back off injury and be corner number 4, that is a deep cornerback. That is beautiful. Jordan Lewis, he ain't no pushover. If he's cornerback 4 covering your number 4 receiver, I'll take that any day. Any day. If he can come back from the injury that he had and be good. If he is not ready for the first few games, I think Eric Scott could step in and be serviceable. better than Deshaun Wright or Kelvin Joseph. And then Donovan Wilson and Jaron Curse going to do what they do. Malik Hooker and whatnot. And Micah Parsons, this year, he'll win Defensive Player of the Year. And I believe this season he's going to put on a defense. I think this season Micah Parsons is going to put together a season we have not seen a defender have in a decade or two. I mean, just something nuts to where he's going to be unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. I know if that's readable. Anyways, keep God first and foremost, guys. He comes before everybody, even this. Seek Him and His righteousness. Everything else in your life will fall into place. I'm living testimony of that. That's why I'm alive right now, because of Him. That's why I have a wife, 2 beautiful kids, a house, a business, all because I gave my life to Christ. And my testimony blow your socks off. If you have any questions about Christ or Christianity, don't hesitate to ask me. Not turning this into a religious program, but it's my duty to put that out there. Cowboys Nation, have a good weekend. Have a good 4th of July. Tuesday, do whatever y'all do. Be safe and be careful. A lot of cops out there. Don't drink and drive. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. TC for life, guys. Be excited this season because we got things to be excited for. It's time that we get over that hump. I think we brought in certain veteran players that have been there and done that to help us do that. And we've got 2 coaches that got rings on their hands. One's a head coach, one's the DC. So Dan Quinn knows what it takes to put together a championship defense. A team that won because of their defense. Even though that was 10 years ago, that's not a different era of football. 2013 to 2023 is not a big, that's not a big, it's not like 2001 to now. Yeah, those are two different styles of ball there with the rule changes. But 2013 to now, no, that's just 10 years. Dan Quinn knows what it is to put together a championship defense that'll lead you to win a Super Bowl, to shut down the best offense in NFL history to 8 points in the big game, and dominate all season, dominate in the playoffs, and have Russell Wilson just game manage basically. And McCarthy knows what it takes to lead a team to win the Super Bowl as he did in our stadium in 2010 against Pittsburgh. Given he had Aaron Rodgers, but they also had a very good defense that season, led by Charles Woodson. Please subscribe, guys. Help me get to 500 first. After that, 1,000. Those are my first 2 goals. Once I hit 1,000, this channel will grow exponentially. I'll have a call-in line, and when I do live shows, my live shows will be live, if you know what I mean. Y'all can call in after a game, agree with me, disagree with me, or we can agree to disagree, or you can just vent, or just let us know what you feel about what happened. That was the best thing Law Nation ever did, was put a call-in line on his show. He inspired me to start my own channel. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Help me get there, guys. Hit that red subscribe button. It's free. It costs you nothing. And I promise you, the bigger this channel gets, when I'm able to start getting equipment and graphics and editing and stuff like that, this show is going to be the real Mamma Jamba, and it will climb at an excessive rate. Help me get there, guys. On 3, hit that subscribe button one more time, guys. Implore, indulge me, please, guys. 1, 2, 3. Subscribe. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you. The like button. 1, 2, 3. Everybody hit like. Boom. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. And if you're watching to the end, you're a real one, and I love you for that also. First class content all day, every day. Charles in Charge, Cowboys Sports Report. Right now, if you want to help me get to training camp, guys, this is the info. If you do, put in the chat that you're the one that sent X amount or whatnot, because I will keep a log. And like I said at the end of the season, number 1, we'll get playoff tickets, good playoff tickets. Number 2, 2 jerseys of whatever player style that you want. And number 3, a 1990 Rookie of the Year Emmitt Smith card. I collected a lot of football cards when I was really little. I've got a ton. I've got Brett Favre rookie card, Keyshawn Johnson rookie card. I mean, just, oh my God, big old binder full of early 90s, late 80s cards. That's about it, guys. I went 45 minutes. I try to keep it to 30, but I start talking about this passion of mine. And, you know, with me, it's God, family, Cowboys. That's how it goes. I start talking Cowboys, I could just keep going and going. That's it for this episode, guys. Stay cool and calm. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Hopefully my next video is the Cowboys went out and made a move before training camp. They brought in Dalton Reisner to compete or to had a depth piece. They came to an agreement with Zeke to come back. They picked up Cooks. Hopkins decided he wants to win a ring before he retires and came on for $3 million, something like that. That would be amazing. But we'll see, guys. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Charles and Charges out.